Hey guys, Bird Yu-Gi-Oh here. So today I wanted to do another top 10 kind of thing here. This one is not necessarily like ranked, so this is actually top 10 tech cards, for this current format. Just some really cool cards that you may or may not know of. Some you may be using, some you might not want to use, just depending on matchups and whatnot. But some of these are good in the main, some are just good in the side deck and just kind of throw in every now and then. But yeah, I'll go through these. This is, of course, just opinion. If you have any other thoughts, just comment down below. But yeah, let's start off. Like I said, this isn't in any order in particular. But yeah, we'll just start with the first one right up here. And I kind of have a mixture of traps, spells, monsters, extra deck monsters. So yeah, first really cool tech card, Imperial Iron Wall. Against a lot of decks, obviously, that like to banish, this card will just shut them down. It's a continuous that just says neither player can banish cards. So, for any way they're using that, to banish their own cards, try to banish your cards, this just shuts it off. So it's just a really cool card against certain matchups. Another cool tech card is Utopic Future. And also I tried to make these all budget as well. Now this particular version I want to say is like $6 or $7 if you want like a prismatic rare. But it is also a common card, so it is a very budget card if you want that. But it's a good out to certain cards because after this card battles an opponent's monster, you just take control of that monster until the end of the battle phase. So it's a decent way of, just obviously controlling a monster to just get it off the field, maybe do some damage if you have other monsters on the board. But yeah, it's a decent card. And then we also have one of my favorite hand traps, Dimension Shifter. It is surprisingly just really good, especially in certain decks. I like to play this a lot. But you just have no cards in your graveyard, and you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard, and until the end of the next turn, any card sent to the graveyard is banished instead. So usually that's going to really hurt your opponent. It's just a really cool hand trap to play, and I really like it a lot. And then another really cool tech card that you guys have probably seen in a few deck profiles is Ningirsu. He's just a good out because he does not target, does not send to the graveyard, does not destroy, he does not destroy and send to the graveyard. He just flat out sends a card from each player's field to the graveyard. So there's no targeting there. Again, a good card, a good tech card to play if you need to out a certain card, a certain monster card. And then we also have basically the god card of all tech cards is Forbidden Chalice. It's a quick play spell, so very universal. You can use it on your turn, on your opponent's turn. You just target a face-up monster on the field. It gains 400 attack, but its effects are negated. So you can use it both ways. If you need 400 extra attack to get over a monster, you can use this. Or if you need to obviously negate one of your opponent's monsters, this is just a really good tech card to play in the side, play in the main, completely up to you because it's so universal. And then we also have a very unknown one, Soul Release. It's not a quick play, so therefore a lot of people just overlook it and say it's terrible. I wouldn't say it's the best card out there, but again, it's one of those that on your turn, all you do, you just target up to 5 cards in any graveyard and banish them. So it's one a lot of you guys maybe don't even know about. But the way I would more use it is against a deck that likes to load up the graveyard and start using those effects. This just flat out forces them to use some of those effects, maybe before they want to, prematurely. So that's the way I like to use it, if I do use it. They just load up their graveyard with trap cards that they can then use on my turn, and then I just use this right away to try to just force them again to just use all their resources get rid of some of their really good cards that I don't want them to use. Cool little tech card. Like I said, it's not necessarily one that you're going to be using all the time, but it's a good card to know. And then of course another really good Floodgate tech card, Anti-Spell Fragrance. It kills a lot of decks. One being Pendulum. This card alone can just win you against almost any Pendulum deck. But yeah, we all know what it does. Both players have to set their spell cards before activating them, and they cannot activate them until their next turn after setting them. So basically just, shuts down their spells, which most decks obviously play a substantial amount of spells. Shuts them down basically until their next turn to use them. And then another really cool tech card is Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries. If you're playing against a certain deck, certain decks that really just have a card that they need to get out, that they really want to get out, and you obviously know that card and play it in your extra deck, this can just win you the game by itself, because you're getting rid of that monster that they absolutely need and is pertinent to, what their deck is trying to do and their game plan. So, Ghost Reaper, if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you just discard this, reveal a card from your extra deck, and then you banish all cards from your opponent's extra deck with the same name as that card you revealed. So, again, like if you're playing, obviously the most notorious one is ABC Dragon Buster. If you're playing against ABCs and you banish all three of their Dragon Busters, you probably are going to win. But yeah, there's other examples of other decks that just rely on certain cards to get them through. But another really cool tech card is actually Evil Swarm Nightmare. It's another kind of uncommon one, I would say. It just requires 2 level 4 darks. It's nice because when your opponent special summons a monster, you can detach one and change that monster to face down defense position, and you can use that obviously it's not once per turn, so you can use that a couple times on your opponent's turn, and it's really good obviously against certain decks, especially other XYZ decks. So yeah, it's a cool card to think about if you're doing like a level 4 dark deck. Even decks like Rockets can play a card like this, or most Pendulum builds can play a card like this, and it's just kind of a cool little tech card to play in your extra deck. And then the final card I'm going to talk about as far as really cool tech cards is Book of Eclipse. At one time it was an amazing card. Now not so much, mostly because of links is basically the main reason. And you obviously don't want to play this against decks like Subterror. This would be terrible to play against them, generally. But it's one of those cards, again, that does not target, doesn't destroy. It basically just, all it does, it's a quick play, so that's nice too. It just changes all face-up monsters on the field to face-down defense position. During the end phase, you flip them all face up, and your opponent draws 1 card for each. So generally you're wanting to use this when you know you're going to be able to get rid of all those monsters. So cards like Red Dragoons, this card, it's not targeting, so it's just flipping that face down. Obviously they can negate this, but if you had another card that they negated, then you can drop this down and then hopefully be able to just get rid of that card super easily. But yeah, it's a decent card. So yeah, these are 10 tech cards that some of you guys, most you probably guys knew about. Some you probably didn't. Some you probably don't want to use. But it's just, I thought, a cool little thing to show you guys some interesting tech cards that are very budget. So thanks for watching, guys, and we'll catch you on the next one.